all roads kind of lead to media for me is, and why I also kind of want to talk about reality TV, which actually relates a
Please.
lot to this.
We
But
can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about, Gary.
part of why reality TV is so inspiring to me, and it sounds like ironic that I would say anything like that, but it's not because a random like dating show is, I think, is a huge positive influence on the world. It's like there's models that can be applied to mimetically inspiring people to see what to replicate what they're seeing on camera, right?
Yeah.
So the small oasis idea, it's find the most canonical, like the best example of whatever kind of education, let's say, that you think teachers everywhere should be trying to emulate. And it's like tricky because then you'd have to like train the people that are getting educated to like not be go crazy because cameras are around you. But let's assume that they somehow figure that out. If you could somehow capture the magic of a transformative educational like container in a way that is really inspiring to the world, you could imagine many thousands of teachers hosting their own 30 student oases, and maybe even connecting across teachers through some kind of digital learning
I
environment.
think there's real future to that idea. I do a lot of thinking about educating kids and getting them out of the indoctrination system of your public education. Because I got a daughter now and I'm hopefully going to have more kids. And I don't want to hand the education of my kids over to my enemies. And what you're talking about there really resonates with me in terms of a model that is both humble in its original scope, but has a plan that it could also have legs beyond your small
For sure.
start.
For sure, because and this is, I think this fixes, I think it's really important to be suspicious about people who have a brand that's, oh yeah, I don't care about money, I just really care about doing good, I don't care about attention, and yet they're on camera being interviewed. I like attention.
I'm doing this for a reason, for personal interest for me and my family. I make no bones about that this is, I enjoy this, but there's intent behind it beyond just a public service.
For sure. And so me being kind of like ruthlessly self-aware and honest about like why I do what I do. It's, yeah, I want money. Yeah, I want attention. Yeah, I want to do good as well, of course. But
Yeah.
like I'm a human, and I also just, if I was a teacher like in this hypothetical environment with the reality TV shows, that might make it worth it for me because I get the recognition then I could then monetize in the future in some other ways. But like right now, does someone that could be like an investment banker or Google engineer, do they want to be a teacher to 30 kids? Right
Right.
now, they have like very little incentive right now. So how do you sweeten the deal to get the best fucking teachers to be in this reality show, like this like superhero academy thing?
Never thought of it that way, but that's a very interesting idea. But you're exactly right. And Jordan Peterson talks about this quite a bit, where you can get the best guy to teach Plato and Aristotle, right? And everybody can see him and benefit from that.
For sure. And these are not simple things to pull off, but yeah, like this idea of not losing the magic of the small, but then also scaling in a way that's not conventional terms of scaling. I think that's really interesting, and I think we have all the technology I think that we need to pull something like this off. I'm sure there's tons of startups that are like they're thinking about stuff like that.
There's Synthesis School. I know Joe Norman is part of that. I know that Jordan Peterson has some stuff going on with that, putting online schools. Yeah, I think there are people working it. It becomes, I believe, a problem of how do you package these different offerings together and utilize them in the environment, because every group of 30 kids is a little bit different. You're going to have different needs and wants and what have you. I doubt there's a universally right answer for every group of 30 kids for any given age. And
for sure. I do think though that having like literally like almost like a reality TV show of a really good example of teachers and how they would interact with students and make them better gives like this shared case study library. So let's say you and I are educators and we both watch the same show. It's, oh wow, what Mr. Smith did for Evan to deal with the conflict between Evan and Jill. Oh, I'm seeing that happen with my own kids, and that was a really good reference point for me.
Yeah, I wonder how you like. So Jocelyn loves some reality TV, and I like it too every once in a while. But one of the things that the problems that they run into is producers engineering outcomes in order to have good TV. I wonder how you mitigate those types of effects in an environment like that.
You're saying it should be interesting,
You're making an entertainment package
right?
to an extent, right? And how do you mitigate the idea that we're going to induce Billy to have a problem that he's magically going to overcome, and it's going to make this great magical moment because Mr. Smith is going to bring him a popsicle at the right time?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but one thing that comes to mind is I think the premise of the show has to be like pretty challenging, or the purpose of the school has to be really like ambitious, and there's an inherently a lot of challenges that they have to
Hmm.
overcome, right? The teachers for how to create the right curriculum for, let's say, a bunch of gifted kids that think very differently. Maybe there's some like a number of neurodivergent type kids, and it's not easy to make sure that the kids play well together, right? Yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, it has to be interesting people in the show for
Mm.
sure, that all have like a lot of, they're like agentic people that like want to accomplish their own goals and the collective goals.
Gotcha. Cool.